Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of Cookiecast. Today's a quick episode, just a little review. It's a review special. Sat down with James Keep. He's been playing a little bit of State of Decay 2, so there's a bit of a review there. Sort of like a little starter review. I think we're going to review it again a little bit further down the line. And we talked about a few other games and a few things that were coming up that sound and look quite interesting. Just a short review. We'll get it up now and then we can do another review further down the line, see what we think of the co-op and things like that. So have a listen, see what you think. This is mine and James's chat about State of Decay 2 and other things. Right, podcast time, let's do this.
Yeah. Have it.
James Keep, here again.
Back with vengeance.
Not only back for another review special.
Yeah, so this is
So today, go.
State of Decay 2. So just to put a little bit of background, I played State of Decay 1 last week and completed it just so that I could do this review, so that I could place State of Decay 2 and State of Decay 1 and see which one was better. Naturally, State of Decay 2 does have the makings of a better game.
When you say the makings?
Yeah, so I've only played it for about 45 minutes, I suppose. And there are some cool things in it. So good points. I'll go through the good points first. So,
well, do you want to do a bit more background around State of Decay as a genre?
Yeah, okay.
Because you played one and finished one.
I did. So State of Decay 1
So
is...
what type of game is it?
Survival horror.
Survival horror.
Yeah,
okay.
So zombie survival horror. You basically play a group of survivors. So rather than one survivor, you just start with a random survivor and you've got to go through the world, and basically the object of the game is to just survive. There is a loose storyline which you can follow or not, and it doesn't seem to follow on in the sequel.
Okay.
Yeah, there doesn't seem to be a direct link.
I watched a trailer for State of Decay 2 yesterday, a trailer that I'd not seen, which is why I watched it. While I was watching it, I was like, I wonder if it follows on from the first one.
It doesn't seem to, and I think this is set like a year later anyway.
Okay.
That's the feeling I'm getting. So State of Decay 1 was okay, but it lacked it lacked polish. It was quite limited in what you could do. There was base building in it, but that was really, really limited. It wasn't a bad game to me. I quite enjoyed it, but it hasn't got massive longevity, and it's not a game that I'd probably want to play like 100 times. So
my sort of reference for this is that I have played State of Decay 1 for about as long as you've played the second one.
Right.
So I played State of Decay 1 after I renewed my Xbox Gold and then got the Game Pass for £1 for a month thing. And was like, oh, well, I want it for Sea of Thieves and I want it for State of Decay 2. Going through what was already on Game Pass, State of Decay 1 was there. I was like, oh, well, I've never played that, so it's probably a good idea to give that a whirl.
Yeah.
And it was one of those that it was all right for a run around, but like I say, I only played it for about 45 minutes, and at this point in time, haven't been back to it.
The thing is, it was released in 2014, I believe, and it's not aged particularly well. Mm-hmm. It feels really basic. It's designed by a group called Undead Labs, and they're quite unique. They're quite new still. They're not a massive company, so I assume limited budget, but State of Decay 1 was pretty successful. The DLCs are interesting. But State of Decay 2 definitely seems to look like it's going to offer a lot more. Okay.
So we were talking the other day about true definition of sequels. Yeah. I was saying that the game I always referred to as being like a great starter was like your Assassin's Creed 1 and Infamous 1. Mm. Infamous 1 was like so basic a game. Great idea, great sort of thing, like as a starter for 10. Very sort of basic, but you knew it had a lot of promise, but which on one hand that kind of made it not great because you wanted it there and then, but you were kind of like, oh, and then they were going to do a second one, and the second one was in all ways a sequel. It was better in
it's
every
true.
single way.
The problem with Assassin's Creed games was that they ended up releasing too many, so the sequels, it was hit and miss whether they were good. What I like about State of Decay 2 is it seems to have taken them a few years to get it out, which is generally a good thing. Because if you look at Ubisoft with what they did with Assassin's Creed, they left a year's gap.
And this is the thing, and it's something that often makes me quite angry with the games world that we're living in now, and certainly for the last 5, even anywhere up to 10 years. A game that is a truly great game is a game that's polished. A game that they've taken the time out. Yeah. I will always throw out there The Witcher 3. The Witcher 3 is probably one of the best games in the last few years because they took the time, they made a game that they knew people wanted to play and they knew people would enjoy. Ghost Recon, I mean, you and I are playing Ghost Recon. Wildlands,
it's a great game.
Again.
Yes,
you know, this will be my 5th time playing this game. It's just such a good game on so many levels, and they're still adding stuff to it. You know, I had the Sam Fisher mission turn up last night, and things like that. And it's just, you can truly tell a game that they've spent time on and they've polished. And then, likewise, you can tell a game that's gone, oh, we'll rush it out, we'll get it out of the door, we'll throw a DLC at it, people will give us £50 and we're laughing.
Sea of Thieves.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
For all those Sea of Thieves lovers out there, I'm really sorry, but I was really disappointed. But that's for another time.
I'd love to find a Sea of Thieves lover. Because if there's somebody out there that loves that game...
Well, the girl I was speaking to in game yesterday, she really likes it. So.
Likes what aspect
she says, what she said was she's got a really good crew of people and it makes the game interesting, and they've like followed the story and beaten the Kraken. I don't even know what that means because I've not seen any hint of a story, but I'm led to believe there is one. So got to keep at it, I think. Keep
on keeping on. State of Decay 2.
Yeah, right. So I'll go through the good points first.
Go.
So basically, obviously, it's a more polished game. It's 4K, so the graphics are nice, which is, you know, it looks better. There are less cars in this one, which is really cool because in the first one, I felt you could just pick up a car wherever and just drive around.
I was going to say, when I was playing the first one, I just drove everywhere.
Yeah, so
now, I told you not to.
Right, exactly. Whereas now there are less cars, and the cars that they have a limit of gas. So you have to find gas to obviously keep them fueled, and that adds an interesting level of stress. Because whereas before you'd just hop in a car and just run down hordes of zombies to complete the objective, now by doing that, well, you risk ending up with no car. The next thing that's interesting is they've introduced something called the Blood Plague. So they're basically a set of zombies with glowing red eyes, and if they attack you and they succeed in an attack and you take damage, you've got a gauge which, once that fills up, you contract the plague, and the only way to cure the plague is to kill this certain type of zombie, go back to your base and basically craft the cure. So you need certain things in the base. You've got to have your medical facility, you need to have meds, and you've got to have these tissue samples from this type of red zombie. And you don't get it from every red zombie, so you might kill 20 red zombies but only get like one sample. And what happens is, if somebody stays with the Blood Plague, as I found out today, they will eventually die if they're in your camp.
Okay.
So that adds yet another degree of stress, because you could be going out with a character you really like, they contract the disease, so then you're torn between, do I do the missions or do I just go around looking for red zombies so I can cure my players? So that's a good thing. Base building seems a bit better. It still seems very limited, but I'm only at a really small house, so that might be why. The interesting thing is that this time you've got a garden, so you can grow your own like medication and stuff.
Which was something I saw from that trailer I watched the other day. There was a lot of, this is what you can do in the game, and one of them was growing vegetables.
Yeah, you can grow vegetables, and you can obviously increase your food stocks and stuff like that. So that's really cool. The community thing is much more interesting now. Unlike the first one, where you had all these survivors that came in and they just kind of added to your community, now you can actually level up your survivors. So you can make a survivor a leader of a community with particular traits. You can have one that's like a warrior, someone that's a scout, that kind of thing. So that makes people valuable in your community. So if someone dies, it's a bit of a it's a bit of a downer because you're like, shit.
Because you put time into
Yeah, you put time into the character. And plus it makes you play with all the available characters rather than having a character. Like in State of Decay 1, I had one character that I used for the whole game. And he survived. Mm-hmm. And I was like, well, that's that then. Whereas now, I find in this version, I'm swapping characters depending on what they do. So I've got one guy that's really good at running. So if I don't want to use the car, his stamina is much better.
Right.
So that's cool. That makes it a bit more interesting. So that's a good point. They've added some extra missions. So back to the Blood Plague, there are some missions where you need to destroy these plague hearts, which are basically just piles of corpses that release the plague, and they kind of bring zombies into the zone. Right. So you need to destroy that to make your community safer. Otherwise, it just expands so much that your base is constantly under attack, and so you kind of need to clear out the infestations. So that makes it interesting. And there's obviously old favourites. There's like the Feral in there. There's the Screamer. So those characters are still in it as well. Those zombie types. Mm. So yeah, on the whole, it's good. Negative points: the stamina system. I like it for running and doing stuff. I don't like it in combat.
I didn't like that aspect of when I played the first one. Like, you'll run somewhere and then you're out of stamina and you sort of stood around and then you get attacked by 4 zombies and you're like...
I find I do like the stamina thing for running because it means you can't just sprint everywhere. Otherwise, it would be almost as if you could just use the car with unlimited gas. Because if you can sprint away from everything, that's kind of rubbish. However, I think when you're in combat, I think the stamina system needs to be different because there are often more than 3 zombies, and you start fighting 3 zombies and your stamina's no good, so you're just endlessly trying to defend and you're not really killing anything. That's a bit of a downer. I don't like that. I mean, again, it does add a degree of stress, so I suppose at the moment I've only played it single player, and this is 4-player co-op, which is a massive bonus. So I suppose with 4 players, you could kind of divide the combat between you, which would make it better.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting, because I won't get it until tomorrow.
Yeah.
Because that was something that I was going to mention earlier. What's interesting is, because they've really sold Game Pass on the fact that you can have Sea of Thieves and State of Decay from release. But what's interesting, a few of the interesting things about this game that I'm really interested to see where they go. Firstly, this was £25 at release.
Yeah, it's cheap.
Which the rumour, which I'm sceptical about this, I must say, but the rumour being is that this is something that Microsoft are trying to bring the price of games down.
Yeah, they're looking more into doing better content that people would rather pay for, but a cheaper release price.
Which, I mean, I'm all over.
Same.
I'm all over that. So let's just see what they do with whatever comes next, is what I'm thinking. Another interesting thing they've done is if you pre-order and buy the special edition, is it? Or if you just pre-order?
No, and the special edition.
So if you pre-order and buy the special edition, which is the price of a normal... what used to be a normal
game.
It's
still £39, so it's cheap. Yeah. It's still cheap.
It's cheap nowadays, but that's the price we used to pay for games. You get it 4 days early.
Yeah.
So you got yours on the 18th.
That's right.
Whereas I don't get mine until tomorrow, which is the 22nd. Which...
No, you get it Tuesday.
Oh, it's Tuesday, yeah. Yeah, it's 21st tomorrow, isn't it? Yeah, I get it on Tuesday.
Get it Tuesday.
But once I do get it, we'll be able to play co-op.
Yeah, and I'm really looking forward to co-op. Because from what I understand in the co-op is that you have your own community, you do your own things, and what you do affects your game, but not in such a way that when you go back to it, it's unrecognisable.
Right, okay.
So resources and stuff you gain when you do co-op, you can use in your own base. But I've yet to see how that functions.
And again, co-op was something that I'd wanted to talk about today, because I knew that this game had that co-op element. And as we've mentioned, you and I are playing Ghost Recon co-op.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I grew up in a time when co-op didn't exist. Co-op was you took your controller to your mate's house and you played Street Fighter 2 for 6 hours because that's the only game you had.
Pretty much.
And then as time went on, you know, Call of Duty, the release of Call of Duty and its co-op mode really changed the world of gaming.
Yeah, it did make
you and I were talking
impact.
The other day that the new Call of Duty that's about to be released has no campaign mode.
No.
Which I find disgusting, quite frankly.
I think it depends. There's a massive online community for these kind of games, and it's quite a known fact that people that have played COD in the past, the campaign is really secondary to them. So I think by cutting out the campaign and releasing it solely as an online game, the advantage is they can really play to the players that want to just do online stuff. They risk losing some player base because of there's no campaign, obviously, but as we've seen with games like Battlefront, when they did Battlefront 2 and added a campaign, again, everyone wanted a campaign. When it came out, it was only like a 5-hour campaign, and all the money was really spent on making the co-op really interesting, and that's what people buy it for.
But that to me... So to give you an example, I've played every Call of Duty game apart from the last one. And in all of those games, I can safely say I will have played multiplayer for about... I'm going to be generous and say for about 3 hours.
Yeah, which is interesting because there's also quite a lot of COD players that would say I've only played the campaign for about 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like I said, they're obviously not going to please everybody. They're going to lose a certain player base. But I think the way that COD, the type of community that COD has, it's very much online. So,
and that's fine, and good luck to them.
Yeah, if that works, great. I mean, I like the thing I really like about things like Ghost Recon and hopefully State of Decay is that you can play the campaign co-op. Co-op campaign for me is as interesting as multiplayer, as just PvP.
So this is what I was coming back to. What I was saying was I've really enjoyed playing Ghost Recon the last couple of days co-op. Me and you playing, and then weirdly enough. When we played in the afternoon, and then you'd gone off to have something to eat, I'd inadvertently activated a boost that was like a 2-hour boost. So I played it for a couple of hours on my own. When you then went off last night and you were like, right, I'm done now, I'll see you later, I turned it off. I didn't play any single player. I actually went and played a different game.
Oh, okay, cool.
And something that you always say is, if you get X number of people, it'll be really good. I just kept, when we were playing yesterday, I was like, we just need more people.
Yeah.
We need more people. We need at least one or at least another couple of people to play this. Because when you play a single player, you have 3 AI players.
You do.
And they're really helpful. Like the sync shot thing, I think is the best aspect to it. And when it's just me and you, we don't have that aspect.
Yeah, it's a lot harder.
And it's like, this game's really hard, but it's a challenge. You suddenly become like, some kind of Black Ops specialist going into.
Well, we've touched on Ghost Recon several times in these reviews, and it is definitely a go-to game. There aren't many flaws other than the Narco Road DLC, which was probably their lowest point.
And I never played it.
Yeah, but I mean, I liked it because it was fun.
I don't do
but it is considered the lowest point in Ghost Recon. Whereas it's just a good game to go back to. I can't really put my finger on it. It has all the elements that you like. State of Decay 2. Yeah, State of Decay 2 could potentially do that, but I need to see how the co-op plays out. So sadly, you're not going to get a review on the co-op because I haven't tried it.
No, but we'll be able to come back to it. We'll be able to touch back on at the next point because you and I are doing the Machine Head gig review.
True.
Next Saturday, I think.
Yeah, next Saturday.
Like the day after we go.
Assuming I can function.
So we could do like a bit of a review special and review the gig and do a bit more of a State of Decay 2 review.
Yeah, because we would have reached it by then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, any more pluses and minuses to this game so far?
At this point, no, because I've not really played it enough. I think if you played State of Decay 1, you'll definitely enjoy State of Decay 2 because there are a lot more interesting elements to it. If you're new to State of Decay, then skip State of Decay 1, just go straight on to 2, it's good. If you're expecting for something a bit Dying Light, it's still not up there with that. It's not Dying Light material. It's good, but Dying Light is a particularly good game.
See, Dying Light, I struggled to get into it, and then I was playing it for quite a while. I don't know if I would ever say that I was enjoying it. It was more of I wasn't hating it, so I carried on playing it and playing it and playing it. And then I went to a new area, and I was like, okay, this is a new area. And it was like you were on rooftops a lot more, so you were away from the zombies. And like if you went down ground level, there was loads of them. So that's why you were like up high and stuff.
Yeah.
There was like a bell tower and stuff like that. And I played it for a bit, and I was like, oh yeah, you know, this is it gave you missions and all this, and then I just stopped playing it.
Right. I mean, again, Dying Light is another one of those games that has a really good following, and the company that do it are constantly adding new things to it. So like this year, I think they were saying there's going to be like 5 new major updates. And it's an old game now.
And this is something
and
that
they're focusing on that instead of
I find quite interesting. That we were talking earlier today about Rainbow Six. So Rainbow Six was here's a game and it's multiplayer and it's co-op, but you can play it single player, but we don't advise it, sort of thing, because you need more people to sort of really enjoy it. I tried it as a single player game, and it was one of those games that I was like, I could do it, but it definitely does need more people. A mate of mine was playing it, and I was like, oh, you know, let's play, and that never happened. And it's just a game that I really enjoyed it, but it definitely needs that multiplayer aspect. And then about a year after it was released, they were like, oh, we've looked at it and more people are playing it now than were playing it at release, which rarely happens with certain games.
Well, Dying Light's one of those.
Yeah. And then, about 3 or 4 months after they announced that, they announced that they'd made a decision to not release any more Rainbow Six games. However, they were going to pour all their resource into the current Rainbow Six game, and they were just going to make that one better. And they were just going to keep updating it, keep adding to it, and just keep making it better. And I was like, that's a really interesting way of doing things.
It is, because the interesting thing about it is I'm not sure how much money they can make off the back of that.
I suppose if they do it through DLC.
I guess, but it depends. They're going to have to release like some serious DLC content, because apart from a few cosmetics, it's a bit like Ghost Recon. They constantly develop Ghost Recon and they're adding stuff to it. But I haven't really spent any more money on it. Because I've kind of unlocked most things, and I can't see how you'd make money off that as a company.
I was thinking about this yesterday. I was like, you know something, as far as that game is concerned, they really have gotten their money's worth out of me. Because although I haven't bought the DLCs, I have bought the game twice.
Yeah.
And I paid full price for it on the PS4, and that game really hasn't come down all that much in price. I think it was £22 to buy it for the Xbox.
But now you get the added bonus, you get to play with me. So
which is, like I said, it's been an added bonus. I've been enjoying that side of it. But yeah, it's amazing how quickly you turn into some covert special ops kind of guy going, right, there's a guy over there.
Using this code language over there.
I quite enjoyed when we were doing that massive building last night, and we were just both laid like next to each other shooting like 2 guys at a time, and there must have been 30 or 40 guys surrounding and in that building, and by the time we went in it was like, well, there's like 5 guys out the front and a guy around the back. And I was like, right, we'll just take that guy out and walk through the back door and then kill them all working forward.
Yeah, it was great. So it is a much better game when it's co-op, I have to say. It's a lot more fun.
Yeah, we need to get some people to jump on with us.
I'm working on that.
Get that Ghost Recon crew going.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll learn to drive a bit better.
Hope so, because that was quite terrible. It's the shortcuts, man. It's the shortcuts.
Yeah, I
just trash the cars taking the shortcuts.
I stick to my shortcut method. You get there a lot quicker, and hey, it's not like it's, you know.
Hang on, didn't you take us up in a helicopter and crash that as well?
We didn't need it anymore. That helicopter had served its purpose. It got us there. Like I said, any landing you can walk away from is a good landing.
Yeah. Okay. I'm not so sure about that.
Hashtag just saying.
Hashtag bad driver. There's a certain degree of skill in being able to drive without actually killing everyone.
It was when you were like, hey, look at this cool pink car that I've got. And I was like, oh yeah, nice, I'll drive. I think I turned it round and smashed the front of the car. It was like,
getting in it.
Still got us there though.
It did, yeah. That's true. And it is a very cool pink car.
Yeah. Real men drive pink cars.
Apparently they do.
There you go.
Especially if you're a CIA agent. I think they call it blending in.
Standing out to blend in, like that sort
that's
of
right.
thing.
Like CIA guys would never be in that car.
Yeah, some like muscle car covered in like racing stickers.
Yeah, that's cool as well.
Yeah. I like it. So essentially, when we sat down to do our State of Decay 2 review, we just talked about Ghost Recon.
Yeah, sorry folks. So right, so what I'd say then, State of Decay 2, for the moment, it's got 3 out of 5.
3 out of 5?
Yeah, it may go up, but obviously because I need to play it a bit more, I think, and see what the co-op's like. But at this stage, as a single-player game, it's going to be about 3 out of 4, because it's interesting, but it hasn't evolved massively from State of Decay 1. It's good, but it's not a huge step forward.
See, saying that to me, I played State of Decay 1 and it felt dated.
Yeah, this feels better purely because...
I'm not saying it wasn't a dated game. Like you say, it's 4 years old.
Yeah, I mean, it's smoother. State of Decay 2 is smoother, the interface is more interesting, but the controls are essentially the same.
Let me
searching things still takes forever.
Oh, jeez. Let me ask you this. Has the mission side of it got better? Because what I found was it'd say, go and do this mission, and then you'd be like, well, where is that? And then you'd get there and you're not overly sure what you're supposed to do.
It like State of Decay 1, you tend to get hit with 10 or 11 missions at once, and you can't do them all within the time limit. I think the plan is that they want you to go back and play again. You do get waypoints this time when a mission crops up, but I've had quite a few radio messages where someone said, oh, come and help me, and I couldn't see where they were, and I've got a wandering salesman somewhere, but because he's wandering, I don't know where he is, and the map is big enough that I'm not going to find one character.
This was a bit of an issue I found playing the first one, because it kept going, oh, go and do this mission. I'd be like, alright, okay, and I'd get there and I'd be like, now what?
But you could look at it a different way, and like, it adds to the kind of survival aspect. You may not necessarily know where every place is. So if a guy comes over the radio and says, I'm a wandering salesman, I'll be at such and such a location, but you go there an hour later and he's not there, well, the guy's not going to wait around for an hour if there's a zombie horde 10 yards away from him. So it kind of adds to that survival feel to it, which I kind of like that, but yeah, it's true that... I mean, I met my first settlers of humans, and that ended badly. I sent my top guy out there to negotiate like an arms deal, and we were like, well, we're all survivors, can we do a better deal? And the guy was like, no. So you have an option to try and kill him or walk away. So I was like, well, I'll try and kill him and see what happens. Bearing in mind, I had a machete. By the time I pulled out the machete, I was already dead. So I was like, wow, how are we ever going to fight Negan? But then that made me think, right, it's probably best to make allies. Which I quite like. Yeah,
I kind of think it's probably sending you down a certain route there. You were saying about the survival game. Twice in 2 days I've seen this thing. I don't know if you've seen about the... there's a new game coming out where you're in the Amazon.
Right, no, I don't know this.
And you have to survive in the Amazon, but not only do you have to survive against like plants and animals and stuff, you've got to survive against parasites.
Right.
And they're sort of saying it's going to be a proper survival game. You're in the Amazon jungle, so it's not a made-up place. But they're going to put in all the elements that you would have to essentially deal with in the Amazon.
Sounds cool.
And straight away I was like, that sounds interesting.
Yeah, that sounds cool.
I don't know if it's going to be like a first person. I saw an image that was like a first person view with a guy with like a makeshift spear.
Right.
And I was like, that looks interesting.
Are you being hunted by any aliens or monsters?
No, I think it is just...
Right, literally.
You're in the Amazon and you have to survive.
Boy Scouts survival guide.
Like, I'm going to get this vine and use it as rope, and I'm going to make a fire by striking some flint on a rock or something.
I think that could be fun. Next thing that's just cropped up on the pre-order as well is Vampire.
Oh, man. I've been following this game for about 18 months now. Now, I've said, fully expect it to be shit, because I think it's got the premise of being really good.
New trailer's great.
But there was a game, which I can tell you what it was called. The Order 1886. Do you remember that game?
No.
So that was a game that I followed for about 18 months, literally from the first moment to release. And I was like, this game looks Sounds like it's going to be, everything about it to me says amazing game. I bought the special edition of it. I took that game and I was like, oh, this is going to be amazing. And it was awful. Truly awful. So I kind of feel like that this is the making for Vampire.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
But I love the look of it.
Yeah, it looks really cool.
And
so I'll take a chance.
It does this thing that I'm always like, it sounds like such an amazing idea. Depending how many people you kill as a vampire makes the game go a certain way.
Yeah, things you do affect decisions in the entire city, so I think that's going to...
So I'm just like, that's got to be another element, because you've got to really think, should I be killing this person? Yeah. Should I be feeding on this person? What effect is that going to have to the rest of the game? And the powers look really cool.
Yeah, I think it's going to be... vampire. Like you said, it initially looks really cool. So,
I was a massive Legacy of Kain fan. All the Kain games I thought were brilliant. And it's about time we had a new, really good vampire game.
Yeah, well, this looks set to be a good one, so we'll see. I mean, the little company that's making it are quite good. Little French company, they're quite good as well. So.
At this point in time, I can only find a release for the Xbox.
Yeah, I think it's only on the Xbox at the moment.
Which, that'd be interesting. Another reason to get on the Xbox.
Yeah, because in the pre-orders, it's definitely only on the Xbox.
Yeah, I can only find an Xbox version.
Hmm.
So a few things for people to watch this space on. A few things that we can...
Vampire, that's going to be next. An update on the State of Decay multiplayer. Mm-hmm. That'll be on there. And then, failing that, if nothing interesting comes out between now and then, it will definitely be the Red Dead Redemption review in October. Because that's going to be awesome.
Take your word for that.
It's going to be awesome.
Take your word for it. Didn't like the first one. Just saying.
Red Dead's going to be great. It's
one question. Why would you ever make a game and put the training for that game at the end? Why would you do all the training at the end of the game? You've played the entire game. You've essentially finished it. Now let's do the training for it. No sense. And they did a DLC that a mate of mine went, oh, this DLC makes it better. And I was like... Well, you used the words made it better, so that's surely going to be good. And it made it worse. DLC was fucking awful, just like the rest of that.
Well, this has been in development for so long, and it's been put back well over a year. It's a Rockstar game. They've learned a lot. They've made some massive changes to the way they make games. I think Red Dead's going to be good.
They must be one of the biggest companies in the world right now after the GTA 5 thing.
Yeah, after they made $1 billion on
$1
GTA
billion. Good on them.
Yeah. No, I think Red Dead's going to be good. If it's not, I'll eat your laptop.
Okay. I
went
to school with somebody who works for Rockstar.
Can you get a deal on Red Dead?
I don't know. Leon's cousin was in one of the Grand Theft Auto games.
You're just going to have to tap these people up. If we're going to start doing reviews on games, we could do with getting them cheaper.
Get some early copies of the game.
Yeah, I'm going to say, because at the moment it's like £60 a month.
Watch this space, people. We might get a deal with Rockstar. We won't get a deal with Rockstar.
But we'll be really happy if we do.
Yeah. Rockstar, hit us up.
Red Dead 2 we're looking for.
Yeah. Right, let's leave it there then. That was a nice little look into the world of State of Decay 2 and other things.
Indeed.
Right, cheers for coming.
Yeah, no problem.
See you on Saturday after we've gone and destroyed it.
After we moshed the mosh pit.
Beautiful.
Laters.
Right, thank you. Bye-bye. So there you go. What did you think to that? A little review of State of Decay 2 with me and James. And then a few other bits and pieces. What do you think? You want to hear what we think about State of Decay 2 and its co-op mode? Tune in again in the future. As always, I encourage you to jump over to the website, thecookiecast.com. Give us a shout, give us an email or a Facebook or something. Tell us what you're liking, what you're not liking, and we'll sort of see what we can do. I've got a few ideas in the ideas pot bubbling away, so there'll be a few new things coming up. But until then, bye-bye.